What's going on YouTube? Tim Plague here again. Just got done with my Blind Spot Season 2 Episode 2 video, which is a catch-up due to me being sick. And so this is going to be my review and recap of the pilot for Designated Survivor, which is the new series on ABC, starring Kiefer Sutherland, back on TV. First time since the 24 Live Another Day series. And so gonna give a quick review recap of the pilot episode. So first off, I just want to say really enjoyed the episode, and excuse me, really enjoyed the episode. And before we get started, if you like the video, please drop a like right down here. Thumbs up. Also, any comments you guys may have, you can leave them down in the comments. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. It really helped me out a lot. But let's jump right into Designated Survivor pilot. So, starts off and it gives a little message talking about how whenever the government is meeting in one place, there's one member of the line of succession who is taken to a undisclosed location. That person is called the Designated Survivor. So, obviously the title of the series. Kiefer Sutherland plays Tom Kirkman. He is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. So, right away we see that, you know, he is not near the top of line of succession at all. And basically, it starts off with him in the area, the secure area, where they're keeping the Designated Survivor, getting ready to watch the, what is it called? State of the Union. So, he's there with his wife, and his wife is talking on the phone to their young daughter, who is up past her bedtime. So she gives the phone to Tom, and his wife's name is Alex. She gives the phone to him, and he's talking with the daughter, but he makes a deal with her that if she goes to bed now, he'll let her stay up an hour the following night, which she agrees with. And of course, the wife knows she's not mad, but in a joking way, telling him, you have to stop making deals with her. So, we see the dynamic. It's a happy family, which I was nervous because I'm used to seeing Kiefer Sutherland play Jack Bauer, and we know how his personal life is. It's not good. If he seems happy, things are going to go bad quickly. Even though things do go bad in this episode, in this series, it's not toward him specifically. So I just had to remember, this is ABC, it's not Fox, it's not 24. But going forward, then flashes back 15 hours earlier. When the two, Tom and Alex, they wake up. Or she's already up early, and she's doing some work on the computer, and he, you know, it's his wife, they're married, he wants to get intimate, but the daughter comes and knocks on the door, and so he has to get up and make breakfast, which apparently he's not very good at. The pancakes look terrible. Their older son, their teenage son, comes down, and after asking the daughter if he cooked, to which he says, unfortunately, he says he'll just have toast. So, he's questioning his son about where he was going, and obviously he's a teenager. However, in this scene and later on in the episode, it's not the typical where the teenager just has to hate the parents kind of relationship. They do have some joking there. After he explains to him, or tells his son, and what's his son's name? I have some notes here that I'm just going to take a very quick look. Pretty sure. Oh boy. Looks like I did not notate the son's name. No, I'm sorry, his name is Leo. So, and his daughter's name is Penny, the young daughter. So, after Tom asks Leo what he's going to be doing, and he tells him he doesn't understand. And then, of course, they have like a little joking moment. He says, "How much do I embarrass you?" Where he says, "A lot." And then, you know, they share a nice little moment, and he leaves. So, Tom then meets up with his oh boy, his, I want to say like secretary, forget her name, but they meet up together, and obviously there was something that the president was supposed to put in his speech, but he meets with like the president's chief of staff, I want to say, and he's informed that not only is he not putting what he put in his speech, but also he's firing him, kind of, but giving him a new position to try to make it not seem as bad, to which he's firing the man, you know, and for no good reason other than the fact that he wants to fire him. So, very important setup stuff here. You get the feeling, I mean, he's the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. So, obviously, this is the kind of person that you would want to run the country. He has just been fired by the president. And so Tom goes back home, and he informs his wife of what's happening. And, you know, they're going to have to move, to which she's not very happy. Because they, you know, it took forever for them to get settled in Washington, and I forgot where they would have to move to, but, you know, she doesn't want to uproot her family. They, you know, their son Leo has friends, their daughter, she has friends as well, Penny, and so doesn't want to uproot them, to which he says, we'll commute. He's already decided he's going to give in to this request, because ultimately the president did request it, and he respects, while maybe not the president himself, he respects who the president is. So then we go back to where we left off, and we got the flashback there, and he gets a call. We don't hear what's on the other end, but then he asks, what's a designated survivor? So we go back to the room, the undisclosed location, and they're about to watch what's, you know, the State of the Union. The president's up there, he's talking, and then all of a sudden the screen gets static, he cuts out. So he gets a phone call, picks up the phone, someone's calling to check. He says, yeah, ours went out too. So he's turning to other channels, and they're fine, but the one, you know, that goes back is an issue. His wife's trying to make phone calls as well, and then the Secret Service busts in the room and tell him to get his government-issued BlackBerry, to which he does, and obviously they can tell something's wrong, to which he looks out and he sees the explosion, for the remnants of the explosion. So obviously something bad has happened, and we get a quick view of an FBI agent. Her name is Hannah, played by Maggie Q. She's trying to get in touch with someone, and she drives to the crime scene. Now, you know, after this, the Secret Service take Tom and his wife to the White House, and they inform him, or the Secret Service agent gets a call. I believe his name is Mike. Not just saying that because that's my name, but I believe his name was Mike. Could be wrong. Be hilarious if I am. But he gets a phone call, the Secret Service agent, and he says, wow, don't tell me that. Basically, everyone at the State of the Union dies. So Congress, the president, all of the cabinet, everybody, which makes Tom the next in line to be president of the United States. So they get to the White House and let him know he has to be sworn in. And obviously, this is a lot for someone to take in. I mean, he just got fired that morning. It's a huge deal. And there's this other, I don't know if he's a Secret Service agent or what, but this other young guy, and I forget his name, he's also there, and you can tell that he may not agree with it, but he's, by the book. He's younger, he's not an older Secret Service agent if he is Secret Service, but he also has some kind of rivalry or some, tense relationship with Tom's chief of staff from when he was the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. So there's some headbutting there that happens. Now, Hannah cuts back to the scene, and one of her superiors allows her to stay. They tell the men there, okay, you listen to her, and you can tell she knows what she's doing. She gets them to check certain things, so check all the cars. They're going to try to figure out what's going on. So now back at the White House, Tom, of course, finding all this out. He's not in a good way. So he runs to the men's room and proceeds to vomit, and because it was just a lot. And you hear another voice in the stall next to him, and he says, "We're all feeling it. Go ahead." And he says, "I mean, you know who they got?" And so, Tom, says, Tom Kirkman. And this guy basically proceeds, who was Kal Penn, from Harold and Kumar, from Harold and Kumar. He basically goes, to basically saying all of this negative stuff about Tom Kirkman, saying how he's not fit to run the country and things like that. How if he had any common sense, he would just, give up the position. This guy's name is Seth. He is a speechwriter. So after they both exit the stalls, he realizes who he's talking to, and so he's asking him, "Do you really believe?" Tom was asking himself, "Do you really believe everything you just said?" He said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Well, you're probably right, but for right now, it's me, and you have 52 minutes to write me a speech." So basically, we go through different things, like, of course, the Joint Chiefs. They want to be on a war footing. They want to find out who did this, but all these countries are calling in and denying what, that they had nothing to do with it. So apparently, it's one country who they're moving ships to a certain position that has been contested, and so the Joint Chiefs, they think that this means, it's them, and they're using this to, punk us out, basically. Now, the Joint Chiefs, they don't have faith in them. The main one basically says you're just a figurehead. To which Tom says, "You know what? We're going to try this my way. If it doesn't work, then we'll do your way." So he calls the Prime Minister of this country. He arrives and he tells him, I don't want to get on the wrong foot, but you need to tell them to back up. You got 24 hours. Tell them to back up, or else, you're going to see we're not so weak. So of course, this guy, he denies it. They have anything to do with it, or they're even trying to, infringe on this territory. But it says we need to look into it, and you need to, figure it out, because my Joint Chiefs, they're ready to go to war over this. So he leaves, and it's funny, one scene, he's about to give the speech, and his wife is saying, "Where did you get this suit from?" He said, "I had to borrow it." And you look over this one guy, possibly a Secret Service agent, he's wearing the hoodie and jeans that Tom was wearing earlier in the episode, so he took his suit. And so also there's a subplot with Tom's son, Leo. The Secret Service is trying to find them. They went over to the friend's house he said he was going to be, but he wasn't there. And apparently, the Secret Service agent, the guy who I'm calling Mike at the moment, knows the family well, knows Leo well. They're, you know, on good terms, and they're at this rave and they're selling drugs. So they go there, they break it up, they bring him to the White House, and it was a really good moment there because, of course, the daughter was brought to the White House. She's terrified. She doesn't know what's going on. So Leo and the daughter, Penny, they're talking, and basically he's telling them, you know, some bad people did some bad things, and, you know, our dad has to deal with it. And so Penny asks, "Is Dad scared?" He says, "Dad's not scared of anything." So, you know, it just goes to show this is a close family, which, yeah, you typically don't get. And, you know, it'd be kind of cheap if that's where they want the drama to start, even though there's going to be some family drama. Obviously, in a series like this, there's much more pressing matters than, you know, having a teenage, you know, child who, you know, just doesn't respect you, things like that. Although, of course, you know, he was selling drugs, so I mean, that is going to come up at some point. So basically, Seth has written a speech for Tom, who's going to be the next president, and the episode ends with the, you know, famous line, "All presidents say, my fellow Americans," and he's about to give the speech. So basically, some other little plot points. Tom was able to see that no one's claiming any kind of credit for this, meaning they're not done. Obviously, there's going to be some other kind of attack, and, you know, they need to be ready for it. Also, Hannah, while they're at the crime scene, they find a bomb, and they're basically going to figure out who, you know, where it came from. So there's some plot points that are being, you know, brought up to be drawn out. So this episode was good. I mean, I'm really in for the show. Not a whole lot happened. It was basically all set up, which obviously most pilot episodes are. But I seem to be really enjoying this show, and obviously, while there wasn't a whole lot going on in this episode, this does look like a show that's going to have a lot going into it each week. So definitely excited about that. Are you guys excited about it? If you are, leave it in the comments below. If you're not, you can also leave that in the comments below. But again, remember, please like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, with that red button, rectangle right there, has a number next to it. That laughably shows how many subscribers I currently have. But it would be really appreciated, guys. So, yeah, that's my recap and review of Designated Survivor pilot episode, and I will see you guys next week, or actually it's Monday, so I will see you guys this week. And obviously Gotham is tonight, so that video will be going up after Gotham as well. So appreciate you guys joining me, and we'll catch you guys later. 10 Plank out. Peace.